my life changed just a few months after celebrating that kickboxing victory on those gorgeous white sand beaches along the Gulf of Mexico at a place known as St. George's Island. You see, when we walked back to camp, another friend was waiting for us, and he simply said this. He said, "Do the two of you mind taking a ride down the beach to go find some more firewood to keep our bonfire burning throughout the night?" So we said, "Sure, why not?" And that's when I jumped into the passenger side of my buddy's car, and off we went. And it wasn't long thereafter when it happened. My friend Ed was driving way too fast. At the time, we didn't realize he may have had too much to drink, because for no apparent reason, on one dark road, Ed lost control of the wheel of that car. He ran off the road, and he crashed into a mound of sand, sending that car hurling into the air before tumbling back to earth end over end. And it was in that one defining moment that everything about my life would change. One of the first times that I came to, I remember laying there in the emergency room, and I couldn't move anything from my shoulders all the way down to my toes. And that's when Dr. Stringer walked in my room, my neurosurgeon, and he said this. He said, "Scott, in case you don't recall, you're in a bad car accident. We just received word that your friend Ed, we received word that he survived. Some bumps and bruises. But then they said, look, you've broken your neck, cervical 6 and 7 vertebrae, and have a very serious spinal cord injury that has left you paralyzed from your chest down. Diagnosed a quadriplegic." When I was first paralyzed, don't get me wrong, I was scared and fearful, and I had no idea what the future would hold. Doctors kept telling me, as well as others, that no two quadriplegics are the same. Depends where you break your neck, how badly you damage your spinal cord. That will determine the extent of your paralysis. In a sense, if a spinal cord is severed in two, similar in some ways to that of the late Christopher Reeve, even with today's technology in 2016, it cannot be rewired back together. However, if it's damaged, there's an outside chance, but no guarantee. A chance that your mind might be able to recommunicate with some of your paralyzed muscles. Ironically, yes, that's what happened to me, and it happens to a lot of us. When I first started pushing a wheelchair, that's when one of my doctors, though, pulled me over. And he goes, "Scott, look, we know you're getting some movement back in your arms. Not uncommon for people who've been diagnosed with quadriplegic. But I think now more than ever, you need to understand the seriousness of your spinal cord injury and come to realize that the movement that you're getting back in your arms is as good as it's going to get." I don't know if that is exactly what he said, but what I heard was, you might as well go ahead right now and give up hope. Give up hope on the idea you'll ever come out of this chair. 30 days into this experience, laying there, I started getting some movement back in both of my wrists. And that's when I was introduced to two amazing people, two people who loved to stretch me out. Leslie and Karen. Leslie was my physical therapist. She was like 5'5", reddish blonde hair. She had an amazing attitude. She was always positive. So let's just say this. You and I may never find her working at the Department of Motor Vehicles. But Leslie kept calling physical therapy PT. I called it pain and torture. Karen, on the other hand, kept calling occupational therapy OT. I called it overtime. You see, I grew up believing through the people who had an influence in my life that you simply reap what you sow. And to give you an idea of what I mean, due to time constraints, I need 2 volunteers. Yes, you in the white. Could you run up here on stage for me? Give a round of applause. Could you stay right here? What's your name? Huh? Chris, could you stay right there for a moment? I need, can I make fun of your, Raul? Yeah. Raul, come on to the stage. You can stay right here. All right, we have Raul, we have Chris. But Chris, I want you to hold, and Raul, hold your arms out like this and face everybody in the audience. Relax your wrist. Now, what I want all of you to do is this. I want you to hold your arms out straight forward and relax your wrist completely. Now I'm going to open my arms up so you can see what we're doing. I'm going to ask you a simple question. The answer is either yes and or no. I want you to yell it out. When your wrist is in this position, do you notice there's a gap between your index finger and thumb? Yes. That's great. Curl your fingertips in just a bit. Now extend your wrists in the upright position. For some of you, do you notice how your index finger and thumb come a little closer together, if not touch? Yes or no? Yes. Relax your wrist. What happens? It draws apart. You bring it back up, a little closer together, you release, further apart. Now, if you think that 3 of us look ridiculous doing this, you should see the way you guys look to us. Relax your arms. Spending time in this state with both Leslie and Karen, they would preach 2 things every day to us. If you're willing to adapt and be a little more flexible than ever before, you can always change the direction and the outcome of your life. And as I poured my heart and soul into therapy, as my range of motion increased, over time, I learned how to pick up a plastic fork and a straw with my index finger and thumb. In the back of my mind, I started thinking to myself that no matter how difficult life would be going forward, that everything would be okay. Thanks. Now, I do know you may never experience a situation as paralyzing as I've just described to you. But I do know you come here today with your own challenges, perhaps at home, in your work, the pressure to produce, to reach quotas, to meet the expectations of your customers. And perhaps in that, you and I share something in common. And if there's one thing I've learned firsthand about adversity, it's this. Life, my friends, it's what you make of it. And if you can focus more on those things over which you can control in your life, in the marketplace, it creates clarity. And that clarity can help you keep your vision clear and always in the forefront of your thinking, regardless of the challenges that are standing in front of you today. I learned through my years, the people who had influence in my life, the coaches, that vision really is one of the most valuable assets that we have. It's free, it's powerful, it can change everything, and it is the beginning point to your next destination. So let me ask you this question. What is your vision? What are you fighting for today, right now, back home in your communities, in your personal lives? No matter how difficult life is for you, in that moment, you can always change your way of thinking. And that's when I made the profound decision that I was willing to fail, but I was unwilling to quit. It's a mindset that can define you as an individual, as a team, as an industry leader, to get you to this point in your life with all the success that you've had. Have you ever met those people that are quick to point out what you may never achieve? Well, there's something I learned in my life so many years ago, and I know it to be the truth. Don't ever let your competition or someone else's beliefs paralyze you from achieving those things you believe in your mind that you just might be able to achieve. Have you ever gotten a text or an email from a nurse, a doctor, as you're reading through it, a friend, you know there's more to the story than what they're sharing with you? I realized at the bottom of my mind that Ed was looking for me to forgive him. And it took the grace of vision, mindset, and grit to do just that. And it not only freed Ed in many ways, it freed me. Power to forgive someone in your life is a choice, and the power of choice can be life-changing. To beat the odds and achieve extraordinary results in your own lives, Don't give up too soon. When it comes to your dreams, goals, hopes, aspirations, don't give up to your corporate purpose, shared values, your mission, your passion in life to make a difference in people's lives. And most importantly, don't ever stop believing in yourself, your abilities, or your willingness to acquire new skills. I never did, nor should you.